Hello everybody and welcome to my car. I thought I'd do something a little bit different and show you a day in the life of a PhD student. I've got some cool stuff planned, so hopefully it's going to be a good day. So let's cue the driving hyperlapse. My journey to the university typically takes me around 50 to 70 minutes, depending on the traffic. One of the great things about being a PhD student though, is that I'm solely responsible for planning my days. This generally suits me really well, and also means that when I do need to work on campus, I can work from home while other people are commuting, and then head over to Reading after rush hour. This is fantastic as I usually avoid the worst of the traffic, as you can see, saving me time for more important things. On this occasion, I started work at around 8 AM, did some final checks on what I needed to do that day, including rereading the protocols I will be using in the experiments I had planned, and then left for uni around 9 AM, arriving on campus just before 10. So the first thing I needed to do when I got to Reading was to stack up all the pots I had previously laid out to make sure they fit in the glasshouse space I had available. I then had to shift all of these pots up to the potting shed at the top of the Crop and Environment Lab. Luckily, the university has these cool trailers, which, as you may notice later, are very easy to pull but an absolute nightmare to push. The next job was to fill each of these pots with a mixture of peat compost and vermiculite in a roughly 2-to-1 ratio. Each bag of peat contains 80 litres of substrate, whereas each bag of vermiculite contains 100 litres. This meant that for every half a bag of peat I put in the mixer, I would need to add a fifth of a bag of vermiculite. This was easier said than done, but luckily I have some experience mixing up on building sites. Shout out Sam Jackson. And the tricks of the trade I picked up then came in very handy. In total, I needed to mix up nearly 1,000 litres of substrate to fill the various sized pots that I planned to use for this experiment. This meant shifting a few hundred kilos of wet peat from the pallet on which it was delivered to the potting shed, and then from the trailer into the mixer. That's the really hard part, and it makes a right mess. Then from the mixer, the substrate goes into the pots. Thankfully, gravity's working with you there. And then these pots need to be wheeled all the way back down from the potting shed to the glasshouse. After getting all the biggest pots done, it was time for a walk around campus, and then the most important part of the day, lunch. After lunch, I had some other bits and pieces to do, which for the sake of continuity I will talk about later. By the time I finished that stuff, it was around 4 PM and nearly pitch black. Then it was back to filling pots. I didn't film anything I was doing between lunch and about 4 o'clock, but here's the end result. If you've seen my previous videos, you know that I'm very interested in the potential of soilless systems for potato production. Here you see the two systems I built with an automated EC and pH controlled irrigation system that was set up by the truly brilliant staff at the Crop and Environment Lab. Each of these troughs was planted with 5 seed potato tubers, one of which is filled with a similar peat and vermiculite mix to the pots, and the other is filled with coco coir. I'm hoping both will produce high enough yields to warrant further investigation. Okay, so that is a day's work done. It's about 6 o'clock. It's very, very dark here, and I am about to head home. I will spare you from the hyperlapse of the way home because, of course, it is exactly the same as the way here, only in reverse. So all that's left to say is thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.